Hey everybody. So today I'm going to be continuing with the spring cleanup over on this back side of the porch here. Hold on. This is what's going to happen today. So let's have a good look. So the grass has just got way out of control. There's probably snakes and spiders as big as my hand in here. Can't even see my rose. Look at that. Can't even see it. Where's my forsythia? It's right there. Can't see it. Oak leaf hydrangea. Just covered. And then the holes. I have a plan for those holes. I have more plants that are not in the right place. So these osmanthus fragrans. These are like almost in shade all day. Those are going over there. There's 3 of those. And then there's 2 Clayera. And I have 5 holes. So that works out perfect right there. I am going to leave this here. Southern wax myrtle. That's going to stay here. And I don't know if you can see or notice. All these leaves, all of the damage from when we had that freeze. This is all brand new. Like these are just brand new soft. They're not leathery or tough leaves. These are just brand new soft leaves. They're beautiful. Same here, brand new soft leaves. And with the tea olive, the older leaves, you can see they're a little bit burnt and they're brittle and they're just tough and leathery. These are just soft and supple. So soft. And I did buy a couple of hostas. I'm going to be planting those around this tree after I get rid of all the weeds and stuff. I have some things in pots. This is a Confederate rose. It's a type of Rose of Sharon. Need to put that in the ground. But all this stuff around the tree needs to be cleaned up. Eventually this will all be paved so I don't have to worry about grass anymore. But right now I have to take care of that. All these things that are in pots need to be dealt with. I do have to be careful working around this tree. I have a little hosta that I planted last year coming up. See right there? Looks like a little asparagus. It's a little hosta. And there's just a lot of stuff that looks really pretty right now. But all of this junk is so distracting. Like look at this Emperor 1 Japanese maple. That's gorgeous. But all I see is junk. Not this beautiful tree. So all this needs to be cleaned and weeded. So all the fern died. That's got to come out. And all around the arbor, the Boston ivy got killed back pretty good by the freeze. But then it popped out new leaves again. So I may be pulling a lot of that out though, because it's starting to travel and get a little crazy. So I'll probably pull that out. Same with this fern here. It died and it was looking so pretty, but I'll clean that up. It should look a lot different over here. I just want to really document how bad this is. And I need to quit letting it get this way. Oh, there's so much to do. Look at all this. Look. This is me. This is me doing all this. It's awful. But look at these Japanese maples. They're glorious. They're just glorious. This is the one that shot up last year. Look at that thing. Like literally last year, it was maybe like right here, just to the top of the windows. And it's just gone bananas. Like 6 or 8 feet it grew last year. Crazy. And the other one on this side, I mean the color is just incredible. Look at that color. Oh, it's beautiful. It's so magical. Magical. But it's hard to appreciate it because all the nonsense. Look at all that grossness. Well, I may not get to all of this today, but I'm going to try this weekend to get this completely done. because I want to enjoy this weeping Japanese maple. It's just lost in a sea of fencing and hose. It's terrible. Terrible. Look at all those weeds. I mean, if this was all cleaned up, look how those Japanese maples would just pop. Just pop. And can I tell you, that foxglove I got on clearance last year, like, it got burnt with the cold, but now it's got new green leaves. If this thing throws up a flower spike, I mean, it's the best $5 I ever spent. Okay, let's go. Okay, so this is exciting. I noticed this duranta, golden edge duranta, came back from the roots because it had been killed off by the cold. And I was starting to clear out the weeds around the sapphire showers duranta, and look at all that new growth. All that new growth has come from the roots. So it is root hardy here. And now I'm sad that I pulled up all the ones from the back porch. But I tell you, when I pulled those up, I didn't see any growth from the roots. So this is awesome. So I'm gonna be real careful in this area weeding, because it looks like we have survivors. Yay. Just stepped on the golden edge. Just stepped on it. Urgh. Why am I always wrecking things? Look at that. I'm always wrecking things. So I'm gonna go get some rooting hormone, and I'm gonna put this in some dirt. Go! Why am I wrecking the good things? Wrecking the good things. Ugh. This had a freaking bud on it. Ugh. I'm putting this in some rooting hormone. Casualties. The casualties are going to be great. Okay. So in addition to cleaning up, I said I was going to be putting some right plants in the right place, moving some things around. And in the front yard last year, I had planted some azaleas in the front, and they are frying because they're in a southwest hot all-day sun. Now some of the azaleas are doing fine. Some of them are not. Let me show you. So some of these azaleas in the front are doing okay. This one's called, I believe, Gardenia. Even though it's an azalea, it's called Gardenia. It's beautiful, but the leaves are nice. I have it right along the edge of this front bed, and they're blooming just beautifully right now. Such a pretty flower. But then in the back, these ones are not doing so good. The leaves are so teensy-tiny, like they're just shrinking away from the sun, trying to be as tiny as possible because they just don't want to be here. Some of the flowers are even burning before they can open. So these are going to get moved to the back where I moved the osmanthus, and then a couple of them. I have 4, so I'm going to put 2 up against the house there in the back. And the blooms are pretty. See this one in the far corner where it's a little bit protected by other plants? That's the one that has the most flowers on it. So that tells me this thing is not happy. The leaves are just so tiny. And I think this one's called Pleasant White. Now the Gardenia, look at the leaves. The leaves are full and green. Like it can obviously take more sun. Here's one here, see? Like the leaves are, you know, they're pretty good, pretty good. You come right next door, this Pleasant White's like, nope. I don't like all that sun, don't want it. Okay, so where we are right now is we've blown out a lot of stuff. I'm gonna be digging up and moving some plants. I'm gonna take out a lot of the spider wart. I'm gonna relocate some of the arborvitae fern. See that? All of this spider wart I'm gonna dig out. And then I have some butterfly ginger lily. I'm gonna move that. This fern here is gonna stay. The arborvitae fern's gonna move. That one might stay because it's not quite so far to the back. I'm gonna keep this foxglove here in case I do get a flower spike. We'll let it stay for a little bit longer. This gardenia we're gonna dig up and move to the back of the property. And then on this side, we're gonna move this gardenia to the front of the property. This gardenia at the corner is gonna stay. And then my husband is removing some more of the asparagus fern. The only asparagus fern I'm gonna leave is this one here to climb up the trellis, but I don't want anything else climbing on the man cave. And then this hosta back here, Hosta guacamole, one of my favorites. It's being covered up by the Turk's cap. So I'm gonna move the hosta and let the Turk's cap kind of fill out this section here. So that's the plan. I may leave this spider wart here. It's leaning towards the sun a little bit. I just don't like how floppy they get. Otherwise they're beautiful, but they're floppy. That's just kind of an update on where we are. So right now we're just gonna keep working on cleaning out the beds and moving around some plants. That butterfly ginger lily, isn't that cool? This gets a really gorgeous fragrant flower, but I don't like the foliage because it looks like corn. I don't like the foliage at all. Flower's gorgeous, it smells good. So we're gonna move that somewhere else. Okay, so I think the arborvitae ferns that I dig up, I'm gonna dig up this one as well, and I'm gonna go ahead and divide them. And all you do is just cut them in half with a shovel, kind of like a hosta. Because the clumps are big, but they also grow fast. So if I split them up into smaller ones, by this time next year, all the smaller ones will be as big as that big clump there. So that's what I'm doing now. And then I'm gonna dig up this gardenia here so we can move it to the back. These are two. Yeah, that's good. We can plant two. So now we're gonna move this gardenia. So we're gonna dig up this gardenia here and move it to the front. Take it to the front yard. Okay, so this one we just dug up is going to go right here in front of a larger one of the same kind. So it's a beautiful gardenia. Let's see, it's going to bloom soon. It blooms from May 1st to June 1st. And this is actually, this plant here is a cutting that I took from the big mother bush in the back about 4.5, 5 years ago. So that was a 6-inch cutting. Now it's a huge shrub. So we're gonna plant it here. The reason we have this big one here and then this smaller one is just to cover up these support poles so they're not as visible. So those go up to the power pole there. So we just want to camouflage them a little bit. So this one has gotten pretty big in the last couple of years, so it should, I'm just moving all around. It should cover up and be as tall as the other one, I'd say in 2 years. Should be, anyway. Almost fell. Okay, so it's been a couple weeks. Things are planted and growing in. I may move that. I think it's getting too much sun. Over here, trifolium. It's a trifolium. I have the burgundy and then I have the green. So those are around the tree. Planted another heuchera, hosta, and then this hosta that was just a tiny little asparagus nub, that is now open, but it's looking good around the tree. I did get the irrigation done, so this will all be covered with mulch, this little spaghetti zigzag, but I have emitters to spray around the tree. And then over here, things are looking wonderful. I had put the 2 azaleas here in between the osmanthus, but I kind of think I want to move them over here where the clayera is, because these 2 clayera are going to get moved to the front yard, just right actually on the other side of this fence. But I'm going to wait until after they flower. Look at that, they're going to flower. So after they flower, these 2 will go over there, and then these 2 azaleas will go here, so that we have some continuity with those 2 azaleas there. Also, that this is gonna bloom. This is the oak leaf hydrangea. It's got some blooms on it. I don't know what's going on here. I don't see any breakage, but this is all of a sudden gotten really wilty, so I don't know what's going on there. And these are wilting because it's like the heat of the day, so these will perk back up tonight. And can I show you? Look at that. This is Violet's Pride, and it smells delicious. But she had her blush, that's how long this video is. And she has gorgeous long stems, really long stems. That would be a gorgeous cut flower for the house. And I may do that after I film this. They smell so good. Beautiful, love it. And I did plant some Mexican heather that I had grown from cuttings. I do have a video on me rooting these cuttings. So if I can ever figure out how to link a video, I'm gonna do that. But I thought the little lavender blooms on the Mexican heather really complement Violet's Pride. I think I'm right. Also, this other forsythia, like this one there, that one that's all droopy and upright, that's a forsythia. And the habit is much more upright. This one is much more like spreading out over the ground. And I noticed some of it that was in the ground was kind of stuck. So I lifted it up and it's starting to root. So hello, free cuttings. It just like started propagating itself. So I think I'm gonna take some of these long ones, these long canes here, and just cut them up and root them so I can have more forsythia. So that's fun. And the Sapphire Showers Duranta has really just bolted, like from the roots. I'm so glad they came back, but they're doing really great. So I'm real pleased with this little area here. Everything looks really good. And I know the lighting's a little bit off. And we have elephant ears. Those came back. And we do have the passion vine that has come back. More elephant ears there and there, and little baby ones coming up there, and the big Mama Mamma Jamma that was by the man cave last year, that's coming back. And also the azaleas that I moved from the front have really started to leaf out now that they're in more shade. Like the leaves are starting to come back. So they're not tiny little nubbins anymore. Look, that's new growth. They're so happy. I'll show you back over here too. So a lot of new growth on the leaves, like bigger leaves. They're no longer little tiny baby leaves. This one's like real happy. Look at how that's leafed out. Super excited. So, and it's a little cleaner over here. I'm about to get a bloom on this rose. This is my Comte de Chambord, which I think I'm just gonna leave it here because it's happy. It's not getting that awful like rust issue that it was having that would defoliate it. Like it is vigorous and happy, and it's basically in part shade. It's like it's morning shade and afternoon sun. So we're just gonna leave it there. Ooh, and then I have some stuff. I'm not gonna show you that because that's for a mini plant haul later. But it looks a little bit more organized over here. I have kind of my plants that I'm dealing with at the moment on this shelf, so I can neatly deal with them over there. I don't have like pots strewn about here. So those are there. That looks okay. Real quick view. And then this is not as purple anymore. This is the Emperor one, but it's still beautiful. And I planted another Mexican heather there from the cuttings I took because the one that was there from last year died. So, and we have Hosta coming, but this whole bed looks so much better. I've cleaned out the dead fern, but there was more fern coming, so I just trained it up here because I did like how that looked. So, and the hostas are out. I did move Hosta guacamole. I'll show you where that moved to in a different video. But everything is so much cleaner now. I've taken out all of the dead Boston ivy. So that looks so much better. Oh, it's a nice cool breeze right now. I was getting pretty hot and sweaty today, but it looks great. It's my matchstick bromeliad. And then I have, people, I can't remember if that's a pothos or if that's a philodendron. Anyway, it's one of those houseplant things right there. I did move some arborvitae fern. I divided some that I had over in the other parts of the bed. I divided all my big clumps up, so I put some here and some here. I put some around the back porch, which I'll show you that later. But things look so much better now that they're cleaned out, and you can kind of, and the dogs, these dogs. So as soon as we're done with gutters, right now my husband's working on gutters. So as soon as we finish the downspouts and stuff, the fence is going back up, and I'll have to cover that hole yet again. But I did plant some of my favorite coleus from last year. This is kind of the under the sea one that got the flamey tips on it last year. So I overwintered some and planted it back out. That's gonna look lovely. It's just gonna fill that corner. I did have the Love and Wishes salvia there, but the cold killed it. It died, so that sucks. But the Mojito colocasia, that did not die in the freeze. That came back. There's some more of that arborvitae fern. And then I have a hosta there. I moved one of my Acuba japonicas over here, but I think it's too close to that fern. They're kind of getting lost in each other. We'll see if maybe I move that Acuba over just a little bit more, just to separate those two. So right now these two beds in the front are kind of just a blank slate. Oh, one of my favorite hostas. This is Hosta Enterprise. Look at that. I mean, if that's not the most beautiful hosta you've ever seen. Nice. Chloe. Oh. And then on this side, same. Hosta Enterprise. I need to get more of that or divide that. Oh, and my polka dot plants overwintered. Look at that. 12 degrees, and my polka dot plants are coming back. More arborvitae fern that I moved around, and then this violet thing. I thought this was a flower, but I think it was just a seed pod that just like burst open. There was like no flower, so I'll probably dig that up. I don't think I want that. Foxglove. Still waiting to see a flower spike. And then I had some variegated, I can't think of the name, vinca? Variegated vinca on the other side, and I dug up a little bit and put it over here so it could travel. And I added some coleus. Same over there, I added some coleus. We dug up, there was a gardenia kind of buried in here. We had all that fern, and you can see where my syngonium was climbing up the wall. It died, but it left kind of a mess on the wall. So don't let your syngonium climb on your walls, because that's awful. And I'm hoping it will rot and then turn to dust and I can just scrub it off. So don't let them climb on your wall. Don't do that. More coleus, more of that under the sea coleus back there. So I planted another coleus there so that they can kind of grow up and cover all this hose situation going on here. And then our black colocasia came back. It did not die in the freeze. So cute. But see why we need the gutters? See, the rain just kicks up the dirt and it just covers everything. So once we have the gutters, and once we mulch, we are going to mulch these beds. I think it'll look a lot neater and cleaner when the plants don't have dirt all over them. And then the red select Japanese maple. When I started this video, I think it had barely leafed out. You could barely see it in all the fences and hose. And now look at it. Isn't that gorgeous? I love that. So pretty. So anyway, cleanup is done for now. Thanks for watching.